G'day everyone, I'm Dwayne. OzToolTalk's really excited to have a new brand to review on our channel, and that is HILTI. You've probably heard of HILTI. They make pretty high-end tools, and this is their metal cutting circular saw, the SCM 22A. Part of their wider 22 volt range here in Australia. Well, it's actually 21.6 volt if you want to be picky, but over in the US it's marketed as an 18 volt range, which I think is really odd. Because actually, as I said, closer to 22 volt. I feel like they're selling themselves short. Nevertheless, this saw has a 6.5 inch blade, which gives you a 57mm cut depth, which is a bit higher than most of the others on the market, at about 2 inches. It's got chip collection, which is a really cool feature to be catching a lot of your metal chips as you're cutting. It's 4 kilograms with a battery and 3,500 RPM at no load. Some of the benefits of metal cutting saws, in case you haven't used them before, you get very few sparks, very little burring, they're very fast, there's no heat on your cuts, and of course the carbide tipped blade that you get on here is going to last a really long time. You don't need to be constantly changing blades or discs or whatever. The downside of that being that they're quite pricey. I've got some of the materials that I'm going to be cutting here on the desk with me. Some gal pipe, some aluminium tube, got some uni strut and cable tray for sparkies. So I'm going to get straight into it and let's see how it goes. Okay, some of the most common users of metal cutting saws or cold cut saws are electricians. They cut up a lot of cable trays and uni strut, so I thought I'd get straight into that. As you can see, this is just no challenge for a metal cutting saw like the HILTI at all. Great for cutting motor angles as well. Easy to get really nice clean finishes. I'm just double stacking some now. Obviously it's still going to do it really easily. But yeah, there's an alternative. You don't have to use an angle grinder, as long as you can set up your cable tray fairly securely, because it is prone to sort of bending around a bit. Standard uni strut now. This is 41mm. I think it's 2.5mm or so, the 12 gauge. And as you can see, it cuts really, really fast, much faster than an angle grinder. And as you can see, very few sparks. So there's no reason to cut one of these with a grinder if you've got yourself a quality metal cutting saw like the HILTI. As you can see, also no burring. Well, very little burring. It's really, it's a really neat finish, and it's totally cool. There's no heat to worry about at all. Now cutting some corrugated iron. Single sheet at first. Really easy cut. It is kind of annoying to cut corrugated iron, but yeah, fantastic finish of cut with much less burring than you get using a grinder. Of course, shears would be the or nibblers, would be the common tool. But I really like using the cold cut saw for this. This is 2 sheets stacked up now. You're still talking less than a millimetre in thickness to cut through. So the power of this unit's not going to struggle one bit with it. It's really just about getting your corrugated iron set up properly, which I really haven't done the greatest of jobs here for. This is now 4 sheets stacked up, and the key to having stacked up sheets is having them clamped together well, so there's not little gaps between each sheet, because that's where the teeth in your saw are going to get stuck like they did here. You're only still talking about a couple of mil worth of material, but just some regular 1-inch square rolled hollow sections, about 1.6mm, standard sort of stuff you use. My shed's, the frame of my shed is this stuff exactly, and this is just such an easy task for a HILTI metal cutting saw. Obviously a 1/2 inch threaded rod is not really going to pose any, it's hardly noticed really by the saw, but the reason I want to show it is because it really shows off just how clean a cut you're going to get with a cold cut saw like this, and how little burn you're going to get. So I've just shown you one up close, and I can just wind a nut straight on to the 1/2 inch thread. Okay, this is a little bit tougher. Gel tube, 34mm. Typical sort of stuff you might see, you know, used around as handrails or safety barriers, even used as you know, signposts, that sort of thing. And now some bigger stuff. This is 43mm gel tube, and just not. I've never cut this stuff before. I've never had to myself really, but this is so much nicer than having to turn the tube around while using an angle grinder or such. Now you can quite easily cut a bunch of other stuff if you want to. This is a bit of 1-inch conduit, and now I'm just cutting through some LVL as well. This is the standard steel blade still on it, so it's no need for a blade change. It doesn't cut quite as easily as a regular timber circular saw, but absolutely gets you out of pinch, no problem at all. I even ripped some pine straight out the guts with it, it was no problem. And now I've put on an aluminium blade. You don't need the aluminium blade, but if you're going to be cutting a lot of aluminium, you might as well. This is 60x40 aluminium, 3mm thick. Now I've shown you almost all the cuts that I've made, though I have made a few others, probably 10 other cuts, and the battery is just going and going. These 5.2 amp hour batteries have more juice than a 6 amp hour 18 volt, because these are actually 21.6 volts. They've got an extra cell. So after all this cutting plus a few more, still got 3 bars out of 4. Okay, a few observations on the saw. First up, the dust collection is a great feature, but it doesn't catch everything, so don't expect to have a clean floor after you finish using it. The saw itself and the batteries just feel so tough, really tough. They're all a fiberglass plastic composite, so you know, sturdier than your standard plastic clamshells that you're going to get on most brands. They're just really tough. I can't wait. Another time I'm going to crack open the battery particularly and have a look at it, because it just, from what I've read and what I've seen so far, this is a very, very durable tool. Having said that, they seem to have used a steel base plate, which is a bit old school by comparison. Not saying it's bad, but I'm just used to seeing the magnesium bases. I guess the steel base plate's going to bend rather than crack if you do drop it, but it's also going to scuff on the bottom really quickly. The paint's going to come off. So that was, you know, a bit surprising, I guess. Another interesting point, the batteries have 2 positive clicks as you push them in. So the first click secures it to the tool, so it can't fall off anymore, but it's not actually engaged. The second click makes it ready for use. Most of the time you're not going to notice, you're just going to push it all the way in, but just thought it was worth mentioning because it's something different to what I'm used to. Now in terms of performance, you've seen it, so I don't want to go over and over and over about it, but I do just want to touch on the fact of how much faster this is going to be than using a comparable angle grinder, for instance. So cutting that uni strut with a high-end cordless 18 volt grinder, which you can see now on the screen, compared to this saw, you can do about 3 cuts with this saw in the same time, at least 3. So it's much, much faster than a grinder for those who aren't used to using a metal cutting saw. Now I guess the other big question on everyone's lips is about the value. This kit with a couple of 5.2 amp hour batteries and a charger is going to set you back a bit under $1,000, $979. The tool on its own about $389, I think. So yeah, it's more than you're used to paying for trade products, like we use, you know, the ones that we're used to reviewing on this channel. But what you have to understand about Hilti is that their warranty and their servicing is different. It's very different. I don't have time to go into it heaps, so I encourage you to call up your local Hilti rep, or you know, get on the website and have a read. This saw has 2-year no-cost servicing. So if it needs a service, Hilti will come pick it up and they'll bring it back to you via courier. If you're in the metro areas, it's only going to take about a week, which is really, really fast. And that includes your parts that are subject to wear and tear, like your brushes. It's not going to include the blade, but so that's much better straight off the bat than you're used to getting with most 18-volt platforms and things like that. Secondly, they've got a lifetime guarantee on the tool. Now that's a tool lifetime, not your lifetime. I don't know exactly how long it is. They don't tell you. It's going to be a long time. You know, say for instance, it's 15 years, I guess. It's going to be longer than most people expect to keep a cordless tool for. You've got capped servicing, cost of servicing during that lifetime after your first 2 years. And there's the promise that the service is possible, that they will keep the parts and the people around to service that tool for its entire lifetime. And then if you ever put it in for a warranty repair during its lifetime, when it comes back, you get a 3-month warranty on the entire tool, not just the part that you put in for repair. And during that entire lifetime, the entire tool is warranted. So outside of the bits that are subject to wear and tear, if something breaks that shouldn't, they will replace it at their own cost. So what I'm trying to tell you is that it's a very, very good warranty, and you need to think about that in terms when you look at the upfront cost of the tool. How much does downtime cost you in your business, and does that make it worth paying more for the tool? That's totally up to you. You've got to look at your own business, but look, all I can tell you is that this is a fantastic tool. I'm really excited about checking out some more Hilti products, and I think if you pick one up, you'll start to see why people get excited about Hilti. Anyway, that's all I've got time for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment, throw any questions down that you want. Tell me what you think of this product or any other Hilti products that you've used, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.